Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, I apologise about that. And also, if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well, if there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision 2022 related video here on my channel, and today I'm going to be telling you my early predictions for the results of both semi-finals of the upcoming 66th edition of the Eurovision Song Contest, which, as we all know, will be staged this May in Turin in Italy, not long to go now. I have a spreadsheet in front of me with my early predictions on them, and I've seen a few other people over the past couple of days make videos like this on YouTube in considerably more depth as well. They're always interesting to see, and now I am jumping on that bandwagon, although I should say I've made videos like this in the past as well for previous contests. As always, let me know your thoughts on this. It is just an early prediction. I shouldn't need to keep saying this, but it is just an early prediction. Do not take it too seriously. The results in May will probably end up nothing like this. We have no idea what's going to happen between now and then. Obviously, live performances, rehearsals, staging, all of that, live vocals, everything can change, and probably will for a lot of these nations. So my intention is to obviously film this video now and upload it, and then maybe in a few weeks do an updated version, and then obviously right before the semi-finals begin, my final predictions for the results. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know who you think's going through at this moment in time, who's missing out, who's on the borderline as well, and I'll be sure to look at those comments as and when. Links in the description as always too to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. I'm going to put an image up of my early prediction, which I'm going through right now, on my Twitter page very shortly. Be on the lookout for that if you are at all interested. After that massive ramble, let's get into this then. I've gone through the songs and I've thought about, you know, whether the juries will go big for a particular entry but the public won't be so keen, or vice versa. I've thought about how it could be staged in Turin as well. Live vocals, if we know what the live vocals sound like. All of that I've thought about, and I've come up with 10 qualifiers for each semi-final. So I'm going to go through this in a random order, as they will do in May. So, the first finalist going through from semi-final 1 is Norway. This is Give That Wolf a Banana by Subwoofer. Even if the juries do not give this duo a ton of points, the public almost certainly will, and that will be enough to see Norway cruise through to the Saturday final in May without breaking a sweat. Unless there is some sort of calamity on stage, this is going through, and it might win the public vote by a mile. It might happen. The next qualifier is Albania. Yes, Albania looking to make the final once again. This is just a great sort of ethnic bop. Ronela Hayati with Sekret. It's fierce, there'll be flames no doubt, there'll be energy. It's going to really get the crowd fired up, and people at home will be very invested in this as well, I'm sure. Albania, I don't know, it never seems as though they are really, really safe qualifiers when they do progress. But this time, I think most people are in agreement that Sekret is definitely making the final. The third qualifier is the Netherlands, Ace-Teen with De Diepte. This is such a beautiful track. It's very haunting. Great vocals. This has been performed live on a chat show in the Netherlands, and it was just a fantastic performance with red lasers sort of forming this cube around her. If they do something like that on stage in Turin, which I'm sure they probably could achieve because of the arches that they'll be on stage and the light shining through them, wow, if they pull this off, it could be one of the best stagings of this year's contest. I'm really looking forward to seeing it in May. It's going through, and yeah, it's just a wonderful, wonderful track. Is it winning material? We wait and see. The fourth qualifier is Austria, Lumix featuring Pia Maria with Halo. I am a little bit on the fence with this one, but at this moment in time I do feel as though Austria will make the cut. Obviously it's this big, up-tempo, party-type track which I predicted recently would close the first semi-final. I think a lot of people would say the same as well. Obviously, we don't know whether the live vocals will be really fantastic. We're waiting for a live performance, which we should be getting pretty soon. But yes, this is another song that's going to get the crowd up on their feet. It would be a great song to close proceedings as well. If it doesn't close the first semi-final, but does go through and gets drawn into the second half of the grand final, this might close the grand final on a Saturday night. Maybe. Yeah, it's a really good song. Lots of fans for this. And very different from their entry last year, which of course did not go through. The fifth qualifier is Ukraine, Kalush Orchestra with Stefania. This is obviously going through. The band only have to turn up and they are in the final. It is the clear favourite to win as I'm recording this. I think a lot of people really enjoy the song anyway, but will there be a touch of sympathy? We will wait and see. I'm sure there will be some. But whether it will dominate proceedings, we wait and see. I mean, there's a whole spiel about this. If Ukraine win, will they be able to host next year? What will the press think about it? Will fans suddenly turn on this song saying that it was politically motivated or politically driven and tons of sympathy going the band's way? I don't know. Let's not get into that. The song, irrespective of events in Eastern Europe, is going to go through. And is going to push for the win. Ukraine usually do, and this year will be no exception. My God, I'm rambling. The sixth finalist is Switzerland. Yes, Switzerland. What makes me think this will go through? A, the juries might love it. B, the staging might be really simple but effective. C, the vocals might be good. And D, it's charming. It's got this old school, classy, vintage vibe going on. And I've said this so many times before on my channel. Charming songs really can do better than we think. It's happened before. It might happen again. People listening to this song for the first time in May, seeing the performance for the first time in May, they might be so charmed by this. They might just think, oh, how sweet. That's really lovely. What a lovely track to listen to. And therefore it might go through. Switzerland looking to make the final for a third consecutive contest. Might happen, might not. I'm not too sure about this. Like I said, it's an early prediction. It could be incredibly inaccurate come May. But right now, Switzerland's a qualifier for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The seventh qualifier is Greece. Of course, this is going through. It's one of the favourites to win. It might win, but I think some of the other big hitters this year are really going to have to fail on the night. This is Amanda Georgiadi Tenfjord with Die together. Like the Dutch entry, very haunting, very pretty. Starts off a cappella. You're immediately invested in what's going on. Builds up nicely. Pretty decent music video, although we can't vote on that. Arguably the best Greek entry for many a year. That leaves 3 spots up for grabs. The 8th qualifier is Portugal, Saudade Saudade by Marrow. The more I hear this, the more I like it, the more I think it might spring a surprise 2 months from now. It's so simply executed, it's very intimate, and we are welcomed into that intimate setting with Marrow and the group of women around her. Apparently it is going to change slightly for Eurovision from the Festival de Caixão performance. Hopefully they don't change it too much, because I think they've got a good thing going. Let me know your thoughts on that. Vocals are good, and I just sort of get swept up in the really breezy, chilled out atmosphere of this song. Some people really love it, some people really don't. Something tells me the juries might really go big for this. I mean, they loved the Black Mamba, and this song isn't a million miles away from what Portugal brought to the table last year. So, yeah, it's a dark horse, isn't it? I really think so. The 9th qualifier is Iceland. Yes, Melthækandi Soul by Sister, Sigga, Betta and Elin. Again, atmospheric, folky, beautiful lighting, nothing too fancy going on, not trying to be something it isn't, authentic. You could hear it in a movie, absolutely. And I'm really surprised more people don't like this at this moment in time. If it's not your cup of tea, fair enough. But I think this song really could surprise a few people in May. I really do. It's a slow burner. It's a slow burner of a song, and in terms of people really gravitating towards this, it's a slow burner too. I wouldn't be surprised if by May more people are really loving this. It's just striking me as one of those tracks that really will get more people on board before you know it. So, that's 9 qualifiers. 1 spot left. Missing out. Croatia. I just don't see Croatia getting enough love. It's very sweet. It is a little bit charming. But I don't think it's going to stand out enough. I really don't, unfortunately. As much as I like it, and it is a personal qualifier for me, is it? It's either my number 10 or 11 of semi-final 1 at the moment. Can't quite remember. But yes, as much as I don't mind this track at all, where's the love going to come from? I don't think there'll be enough. Certainly from the public, who might just brush past this and move on to whatever song's up next. Also missing out, Slovenia. I'm liking it more than I did. Disco by LPS, of course. Again, I just don't see it getting enough love. It's as simple as that. It's on in the first half. If it's on really early, even though it's quite an up-tempo, fun, throwback disco sound that they're going for, will it live long in the memory? I'm not entirely sure. Also not qualifying, Moldova. Now, I'm really unsure about this one because we know Moldova can really punch above their weight, especially in the staging department. They're apparently going to have a train on stage, Stopsi Stub and the Adverhoff brothers, and it's catchy, it's fun, it's a bit silly, but it's sort of, you know, before you know it, you're starting to sway about to it, having a little bop, at least I am. And, yeah, to neutral viewers and listeners, they might really enjoy this. Juries, I'm not too sure about. The public, on the other hand, might really think this is something pretty good. And Stopsi Stub did it before in 2011, and then in the final weren't that far away from a top 10 result. Remarkable, especially because most people had So Lucky sort of right near the bottom of their rankings. And then look what happened. It just goes to show what staging and energy can do to a performance. But at this moment in time, Moldova is NQing, in my opinion. Also out, Bulgaria. I mean, honestly, I would like to know, apart from the Bulgarian delegation Twitter page, I would like to know if anybody genuinely thinks Bulgaria's qualifying this year. Usually they do. Usually Bulgaria's in the final, no trouble whatsoever. But this year, it seems to me as though not much effort has been put in. It's a rock song that falls flat. I haven't listened to this song in full for a good while now, although I will be doing that soon. And yeah, it's all not really coming together terribly well. How's it going to be staged? Probably not in the most memorable fashion. It's not going through. I'd be so shocked if Intelligent Music Project made the cut. Only a few more countries to go now. Also missing out, Latvia. This is, again, a bit of a silly track, but it's enjoyable enough, and I like the message of it. But is it the sort of thing that people might be on board with now, or can tolerate now, but in May, we see it and we think, come on now, this isn't good enough for the final. That might happen. That might happen. And it's the same thing with Norway. While I think Norway will go through easily, even if the juries aren't so keen, with Latvia, the juries might damage Eat Your Salad so much that even if Latvia finishes, 5th or 6th with the public, it's not enough. So for me, Latvia is not going through. Also not going through, Lithuania. I know, some people think this is the bee's knees. And I like the jazzy feel of it. I like her voice. I like her confidence. There's a lot to like here. It's just not one of my big favourites whatsoever. Where I think this song is damaged, and I hate to say it because it seems like such a trivial thing, the diaspora vote. maybe Lithuania will be damaged a little bit by that aspect of the voting. Ireland cannot dish out the usual 12 points to Lithuania. The UK cannot dish out the usual 12 points to Lithuania. That's only 24 points, I know, but every little helps when it comes to points in Eurovision. And, you know, if that's the difference between qualifying and not qualifying, maybe Lithuania doesn't go through. I don't know. Part of me thinks the juries might go big for it, and then I'll listen to part of it again and think, actually, you know what, they'll prefer other stuff. Maybe Switzerland, maybe Iceland, maybe Portugal. You know, will Lithuania fare better than those tracks with the international juries? I don't know, none of us do. It's so difficult to predict. But for now, excuse me, Lithuania isn't going through, but it could be such a narrow margin. Happened before. Remember 2019? Lithuania just missed out with Denmark on qualification. It was Denmark, wasn't it? Yes, it was a really close run thing. So that leaves 2 countries left, and if you've been paying attention, you'll know which 2 countries are indeed left. Armenia and Denmark. Which one is going through out of those 2? Maybe both of them will end up going through, maybe both of them will end up missing out. We have absolutely no idea at this stage. But right now, for me, the 10th qualifier is Armenia. Snap by Rosalind. I've seen some people online say that this is absolutely sailing through. I'm not too sure about that. But like with Portugal, the more I hear this, the more I like it. It's very different for Armenia, you know. It feels very plain and very safe. But I said recently, I think this could be a big hit. After Eurovision, maybe. Stage it well. Vocals on the money. Could be something really special. You know? Sort of minimal lighting. Maybe go for that campfire feel with, you know, get your lighters out and everything. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. It's really nice. And again, I use that word, charming, because it is. People might be charmed by it. Which means Denmark miss out. This is The Show by Reddy. I really like it, but I think the attitude towards this by quite a few Eurovision fans is it's a song that's there. It's not excellent, it's not poor, it's just a song that's there. And it's probably not going through. Alas. So that's semi-final 1. And I'll be telling you the exact placing for those nations very shortly. Moving on to semi-final 2. Do let me know what you think. The first qualifier is Estonia. Stefan with Hope. I really like this. A sort of Western pop feel. As I've said before, the staging at Estilal was fine. It just needs tightening up a little bit, you know. The 2 guys dressed as cowboys or whatever facing off against each other. That was a bit too gimmicky. Sort of scrap that maybe, do something else. But his voice, his charisma, it's all working really well at the moment. That's going to stay there. That doesn't just disappear overnight. Estonia's going through, and maybe by a somewhat comfortable margin as well. The second qualifier is Cyprus. Ella by Andromachi. Beautiful woman, beautiful song. Really glad Cyprus aren't going down the Fuego route again. This is a lot more ethnic, a lot more low-key, a lot more summery. My only issue here is it too forgettable for a neutral listener? Is Bob down the road going to watch this and think, wow, I was so into that. Really? Oh, man. And then by the time the voting lines open, is he going to think, blimey, I forgot that was even there? Might happen for some people. It really might. I know it sounds harsh, but these things can happen. I really like the Cypriot entry, as I just said. I'm glad it's in Greek as well. And I do see this going through. But maybe, unlike Estonia, maybe Cyprus won't go through by a very comfortable margin. I don't know. The third qualifier is Australia. Of course, Australia are going through. Sheldon Riley, not the same. Could be the jury winner in the semi-final and the final. Can absolutely see it happening. Sheldon Riley pouring his heart out on stage. Very emotional. This song is all about emotion, really. It's a very personal track for him. And I can't imagine the staging will be too different from how it was at the national final a couple of months ago. It's going through, and while it might not be a winner in the final, you've got to be looking at at least the top 10 at this stage, I would say. The fourth qualifier, Finland, Jezebel by the Rasmus. I think a lot of people will be very interested in just seeing the Rasmus on stage, because it's nostalgic for a lot of people. It is for me. I'm looking forward to seeing them on stage in Turin. It's got to be a lot better than UMK. Vocals weren't great. Staging wasn't brilliant. Everything needs to be elevated up a notch, several notches, because it's a big rock song. So go for it. Blow people away. Blow their socks off. That's what I say. If it's anything like it was in UMK, Finland might be in trouble. But I think on name alone, and if that energy is present and visible, and the vocals are better, I can see Finland going through without too much trouble. The fifth qualifier is Azerbaijan, Fade to Black by Nadia Rustamli, the last song that was revealed for this year's contest. It's dramatic. To me, I think what lets it down is how long it takes to build up. The final third, or rather the final fifth, is pretty good. You know, with the piano and the instrumentation really building up, and his vocals very powerful and all that stuff. That's great. But it takes quite a while to get to that point. I'm not invested until about 2.5 minutes in, and then there's only 30 seconds left, and I'm left feeling deflated, you know what I mean? So, while I think Azerbaijan is going through, what might help this is staging. Otherwise, still going through, but not comfortably, in my opinion. The sixth qualifier, Poland. Yes, this is going through. Poland back in the final for the first time in a couple of years. Ochman with River. I am going off this. Got to be honest with you. I am going off this track. It's up there in the betting odds. Not that the betting odds mean everything, but I can only assume, based on what other people are saying and what I've seen and all of that business, I can only assume Poland might actually slip in the odds rather than move up. I think it's one of those types of entries. I like his voice. National final performance was a bit forgettable, wasn't it? Not really a whole lot of movement, not really much happening around him. Not sure how they're going to stage it in Turin, but it needs to be a lot better. His voice is not enough here. There must be something else happening to really give this song the kick it needs to push on, qualify, and get a good result in the final. If Poland do make the final, which I think they will, I would say maybe just outside the top 10 at this moment in time. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But yes, Poland is a qualifier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The seventh qualifier, Serbia. Yes, this is a viral hit, no doubt about it. Millions of views. #1 in Croatia, I think, at the moment. I could be wrong. It's such a quirky performance, an interesting message, but that message has to come across. It really does, because people will think it's a joke otherwise. And commentators, Scott Mills of the BBC, you know, might well make jokes about this. And that's harsh and unfair. If the message of the song does somehow come across to every viewer in May, great. I don't think the staging needs to change much. It is what it is. And it is very captivating as she sits there washing her hands for 3 minutes. And it is catchy. The chorus is absolutely very catchy indeed. Simple but effective. It works wonders. This is going to benefit from Balkan votes left, right and centre, but will people from far and wide enjoy it as much? That is the big thing for Serbia this year. If they get points from Australia, the UK, Finland, Portugal in the final, if Serbia get there, which I think they will, then they're on course for a very good result. If those points don't come in from all corners, but only neighbouring nations, mid-table at best. I think so. Let me know your thoughts. Serbia going through, though. The eighth qualifier, Czech Republic, of course. The Czech Republic. I predicted that this would be closing semi-final 2. We wait and see if that turns out to be reality in the next couple of weeks. Czech Republic surely going through. This is great. Absolutely wonderful stuff. Love the vocals. Love the electro-pop feel of it. Like the way it builds up. It's got such an energy and a momentum to it. I just love it. It's growing on me all the time. It's my number 11 of the year. Fantastic stuff. I wasn't too sure about it when I heard all of the songs in contention for the Czechs before Christmas last year. I wasn't too sure about it when it won the Czech national final. Now I am on board with it. It's a wonderful track. The ninth qualifier. Sweden. Of course, Sweden's going through. Heavens above. They're coming for that 7th victory. Cornelia Jacobs with Hold Me Closer. Raw, intimate, personal. very touching. Uh, it's just a terrific, terrific song. And, you know, we can say, oh, it's overhyped. Oh, I don't really understand the hype. I can't get on board with this, blah, 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 blah. The truth of the matter is, even if you love it, even if you're on the fence with it, even if you don't enjoy it, there is no doubt about it. Sweden are in it to win it. And they are going to get an absolute shedload of points in May. And I would not be surprised if Cornelia is there on that Saturday night, waving aloft that Eurovision trophy, and Ireland are crying into their Guinness because they now do not have the outright record of Eurovision wins. So, not going through from semi-final 2. This is tough. Out, San Marino. Achille Lauro will give it his all, but Stripper, I don't know. I don't know. Is it really that good of a song? Sounds terrible, I know, but is this quite strong enough? I don't know. He's in the first half. He can be swaying about, you know, being a little bit provocative. He can do what he likes. He's a born performer, really. But that's not enough. San Marino, unfortunately, maybe size matters. I just don't know. I just don't think this has enough about it to go through. Looking at the other nations here, the ones I've already mentioned, there's something that stands out about them more than this. This, to me, could be very messy live, and where are the points going to come from? I just don't know. Also out, North Macedonia. A real shame. Circles by Andrea. Could surprise a few in May if the staging's really impressive. I think people might get on board with it more. But right now, it's an NQ, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. Also out, Montenegro. A fine ballad. Really nice. Great vocals. Every time I hear this, I enjoy it for what it is. I don't love it more every time I hear it, but I do really appreciate it. Arguably Montenegro's best entry since Knez in 2015. A real step up from D-Moll a couple of years ago, heavens above, and Slavko in 2017. And Vanya in 2018. My God, this song is much better. But I still don't know if that's enough. Maybe a ton of jury love will get this over the line. Right now, I don't see it happening. Also out, Romania. My goodness, I was close to putting Romania through. It would be quite bad if Romania missed out again. Still no final since Yodel It in 2017. But WRS, he's got charisma. His voice is alright. He's going to be dancing on stage. That will lodge in people's memories, of course, when the voting lines open. And it's quite catchy. It's got a Latin pop vibe going on. I keep using that word. I hate the word vibe, but it's the best word to describe it. And yeah, if it doesn't go through, it won't be disgraced. Juries might not be so keen, especially if it all comes across in quite a clumsy manner. Also not going through, Malta. We know the juries love Malta. I can see it happening again. We also know that the public, for some reason, just don't give Malta many points year after year after year after year. How many years it hasn't happened now? It's ridiculous. I really don't mind the Maltese entry, but I don't see Malta going through, and I think it will be perhaps solely down to a really poor public score. Simple as that. Georgia also out yet again. What a shame. Probably finishing last here. Circus Mercus with Lock Me In. I appreciate the new wave indie feel of it. We don't know how it's going to come across live. We don't know what the staging's going to be. It could be all over the place, or it could be really, really impressive and professional. We'll wait and see. But where's the love going to come from? I'm sorry to keep repeating myself here, but there's other songs here that stand out more. Also out, Israel. I mean, it's a bit camp. It's a bit flamboyant. He's got a lot of energy, and he's you know he's going to be the selling point of this song. He's going to absolutely sell this as best he can. Mikhail Ben David with I Am, of course. But I don't know. There's still something really lacking for me here. I feel as though I've heard it a million times before. I don't think there's a whole lot of originality to this. And sure, it might stand out from the field, but there's better songs. There's just better songs, I think. And if Israel go through, who on earth misses out as a result? Might be a bit controversial in May. That leaves two countries, Belgium and Ireland. Which one's going through? The 10th qualifier is Belgium. I'm not convinced by Belgium so far. It's a crushing disappointment for me, this track, Miss You by Jérémy Maquis. I just think it might be a really, really dull performance. Yeah, he might be bopping about on stage with his guys, you know, very similar to the music video, but that won't be enough. Great voice, yes. Juries might really like it. But, I don't know, there's something missing in the actual track. He's not the issue, the song is. It doesn't explode in the way I want it to. It's not as big or as epic as I want it to be. It's all very, you know, polished, radio-friendly, album track style stuff. It almost doesn't feel like a Eurovision song, somehow. But yes, I've got Belgium down as a qualifier for the time being, which means Ireland, Brooke, That's Rich, misses out. I hope she is not disgraced. This is a really credible entry from the Irish. It's up-tempo, as I've said before, change the outfit, nail the vocals, and promote the hell out of this because it needs it. Ireland could be onto something special. But for now, it's an NQ. So, after that gigantic ramble, where I repeated myself many times, let me just remind you of the qualifiers and in the exact positions now as well. So, from bottom to top, semi-final 1, Bulgaria 17th, Slovenia 16, Latvia 15, Croatia 14, Moldova 13, Denmark 12, Lithuania 11, and then going through, Iceland 10, Switzerland 9, Armenia 8, Albania 7, Austria 6, Portugal 5, Netherlands 4, Norway 3, Greece 2, Ukraine first, and winning semi-final 1. Semi-final 2, bottom to top, Georgia last, North Macedonia 17, San Marino 16, Montenegro 15, Israel 4, I apologise, Malta 14, Israel 13, Romania 12, Ireland 11, Belgium 10, into the qualifiers now, Azerbaijan 9, Serbia 8, Cyprus 7, Finland 6, Estonia 5, Czech Republic 4, maybe a bit high, but you never know. Czech Republic did very well the other year with Lake Malawi, remember. Poland 3, Australia 2, and Sweden 1. So, that's it. Let me know your thoughts. At this stage, I think we can perhaps quite comfortably say certain countries will go through no matter what. Sweden, Australia, Ukraine, Greece, Norway. Some are leaning towards being safe qualifiers. Perhaps Netherlands, Albania, yes. Estonia, yes. Poland, yes. Czech Republic, yes. Cyprus, yes. Even Serbia, yes. And then there's some that are on the borderline. And they're the really interesting ones for me. That's it, though. What a ramble. Until next time, let me know your thoughts and an image of what I've got in front of me right now, the qualifiers, the exact placings. That'll be on my Twitter page shortly. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and I'll be back soon with more Eurovision 2022 related content. Not long to go until it all kicks off. I can't wait. The quality definitely improved once we had more of those internal selections. And while I'm still not sure this year's quality is better than last year's, it's still a pretty decent batch of tunes. That's it. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.